Hello and welcome to a special episode of Craft Party. We had a bit of a problem with the recording of the last episode. It was actually a group session between all of us on the Craft Party server. The only problem is that, I managed to make it so that my microphone wasn't recorded. Even though everything was set up, as far as I could tell, correctly, the microphone just did not record at all. So what we're going to do instead is, because that footage is, near enough useless, I'm going to add in, at the end of this video, after the end sequence, some outtakes from that. If you want to see the entirety, you'll have to watch it on either Whitwing's channel or Apatura's channel. So what we're going to do instead is browse around in spectator mode to see exactly what I've actually been doing around about the base, and also what we're actually doing as a group project. So from my base perspective, we've got a full smelting system up and running. It's really basic, but it allows me to do multiple things at once rather than just relying on these two. Pop through to here. I've been clearing out an area. I'm not entirely sure what to put here yet, but it's a work in progress and it's nice and clean. Back up through here. I'll pop down there in a minute. I've just put a little side area on the stairs. Everything here is near enough the same because, as I said, we're working on a group project. So let's pop through up to the top and I'll show you one of the other aspects I was working on. I've also cleaned up a lot of the walls down here, so I don't actually have mismatched walls. The ceiling is going to be a work in progress, and obviously stone's quite expensive at the moment because I don't actually have a silk touch. Round here I actually made up some lifts. So popping down here, we've got the classic water stream with bubbles going down. The reason why I say hold shift is so you don't take damage when you're on there. Pop out. This still needs to be finished up, but keeping with the same aesthetic as the stone, torches and glass. I'm quite fond of that theme. And then of course back up the other way, we've got some soul stand down the bottom, and that just launches you up out through the doors. I've got some chickens just hanging around. I'm gonna be trying to do some sort of automation in there that pops it down through to my base, but at the moment, just getting the chickens in a good location was handy. I've got a little area underneath that's going to be for the collection. Right, through to the group area. And what we had actually intended to do was everyone started to work on their own projects that would be handy for everyone else to use. So, for example, Aperture is going to be working on an area for everyone to be enchanting. This is the building that she's been working on, and she's also got some sugarcane down here. Not sure why the sugarcane, but it just adds a little bit extra to the side. And if we pop on through, we can see that there's areas that she's started to work on. This is going to be, this is still a work in progress, and I assume that everything between these two floors is going to be related to enchanting in some fashion. And then, so let's have a pop over to Whitwing's area. So he, I believe, has been working on an automatic farm. This is where his food's going to be created. So yeah, so we got some sheep over here. By the sounds of things, he's really looking forward to the update in 1.14 as well, where he can automatically shear the sheep. I'm quite fond of that idea as well. cows seem a bit overcrowded, but you know, these are all going to be used for food, I believe. And same again for chickens. So let's pop down again. So yeah, we've got this nice simple collection system he's been working on. We might actually try to tidy this up at some point, because obviously, you know, at the moment there's a lot of wasted space. I might give him a couple of pointers there. I'm not going to do it myself, because obviously I don't want to be encroaching on what he's been adding. Collective farming area. We're going to be popping back to that in a second. And then the one that I've been working on is, well, it kind of pales in comparison really to the aesthetics that Apatura has been working on, but then design's not going to be my forte. Through here, this is going to be a collection area for mobs, so you're going to be able to grind some mobs down here. Right, and then let's pop over to the other substantial addition that we've got. So previously I was working on the iron farm. I did actually manage to have quite a lot of progress made to that. So Apatura has actually made an entrance system for us. Down here we've got a nice collection system for our iron. The iron farm's been doing pretty well. We've actually been taking from this as well, so this isn't the entirety of what we found from the iron farm, but it's getting there. I realised I actually messed up as well, because what I should have done was, rather than actually having a single iron farm, have two, one on top of the other. So what I might do as well is pull all of this out, change it all into an iron farm, not farm, and then move the collection system further down. That will give us twice as much spawning effectively. I mean, it's not literal, but you know what I mean. Right, so up here obviously I've replaced the glass. Replaced the glass? Obviously up here I've replaced the stone with a substantial amount of glass. I actually had to do this a couple of times because I managed to make it so that the collection point was not in line with the higher up section. I'm not entirely sure how I did that, because obviously the entire thing was done with straight lines. So that was impressive. This is a very simple fire system. So the iron golems drop down here, they burn their heads and then go down there. I did try using magma blocks, but that was exceptionally slow. So if we pop up through here up to the iron farm, you can see that the entire thing was replaced by glass. I mean, this was a lot of smelting, of course. I gutted out a lot of sand from that area over there, and over here we can see that they all pop down to this section here. I added a little bit here so that they actually get pushed along properly to the correct location, rather than actually redoing the entirety of what I did down there. Also managed to get the villagers in. So it was a lot of work that I actually put into that last video, and I wasn't really able to use it because of the audio problems. So that was a bit of a it wasn't ideal. And obviously, because I actually made it so that this area here allows it to be pushed along, I added a little bit more on both sides so it looks equal. I don't think I'm going to be adding a little bit on either side there. And also, just for clarification's sake, up here I actually lit it all up just to make sure that nothing actually spawns in here randomly, so it doesn't affect any mob caps, etc. Well, that's pretty much it for the updates of what was actually happening. As far as I'm aware, nothing else of substantial interest was there for the group projects. Obviously we've got our little sections here. We did actually have a few creeper explosions as well, which is why this is a little bit uneven, because previously we had 3 chests, one for each person, so we could just dump anything we needed as and when. So this is going to be expanded on later on, so it doesn't actually just look like a ridiculously simple path. A few more creeper holes, so that's always fun. And let's have a look around, just to make sure that I haven't missed anything. I think this was actually a quote-unquote tree farm that Whitwing was working on. Wasn't a farm as such, but you know, he just wanted an area he can keep going backwards and forwards to as he needed, to grab as much wood as he needed. Yeah, that's everything that we were working on together, and everything that I was actually working on myself in that direction. Hopefully next time I actually do this, I'm not actually going to be so much of a plum. We need to rack up some plum moments because we've got some creepers, we've got the wrong area from above and below, because obviously I had to move this entire thing over an entire block, so that was fun. What else do we have? So I'm just going to add a few things to the bank to make sure that I've actually covered everything that we need to do in terms of plum moments. This whole area here was mapped out by Apatura, just so we get a guideline of the area that we all work for. Whitwing, I believe, is going to be adding a bit more interest to the outside. If he's not, then what we might do is ask Apatura to have some input onto the aesthetics. I tried to add a little bit to mine, but you know, I've got a long way to go. It's not completely flat, but obviously, you know, the stone is a mite flat, and so is the woodwork. I think what I'll have to do though is push the wood back a bit so we actually get some depth to this build, and maybe add some windows, some plants, basically all round something a bit more interesting than flat stone. In the meantime though, I'll get to work on a few other things. Also, just as a side note, I have been working on a different approach to the videos, so I'm actually going to be making it so that everything flows a lot better. Hopefully everything should flow more smoothly between the scenes compared to the other videos that I've been doing. Let me know how that goes. If you got any feedback, by all means jump in there, let me know. Leave a like if you liked it, leave a comment if you didn't. Please leave the feedback rather than just giving negatives, because I work towards feedback. I'm going to be working on what you guys tell me. So that should be everything. Until next time, cheerio.
Can we please just do an intro and get started? Crescent. Yeah, Crescent. We don't care about the colour. Just map out a space. We will build in our space for whatever we are building. Okay?
Alright. Alright. Down. Bugger it.
Are you joining or not?
Yeah, I just in the process of breaking my boat.
Okay.
There you go. I got stuck.
So, what am I meant to be saying? Is it weird? I actually hate this bit. The initial conversation is like, yeah, this is going to fail miserably. There you go. You have your sword, you have your bow, I have my bread. Don't. So,
So,
welcome back to another episode of Craft Party. I am joined once again by Redeemer and ApaturaIris.
hello.
Today we're going to be doing some communal area builds. I have my pillar. So, Redeemer, what's the plan today?